Hello, ladies and gentlemen, this is Bob Mob, aka Doc Wildcard here, and today I'm going to be opening up and reviewing a thing that I had purchased, the family coat of arms of my name. There it is, my family's coat of arms. The surname Borkowski, that's what my name apparently originally was. It has been, for lack of a better term, renamed to Borkowski, is a topographic surname, a type of local surname that was given to a person who resided near a physical feature such as a hill, stream, church, or type of tree. The toponym Borkowski is derived from an old German word "burg", which meant castle or fortress. Or Borkowski may have taken on from one of the numerous places named Bork in Germany and the bordering Slav countries. During our research into the distinguished surname Borkowski, we traced the name to the province of Westphalia. Westphalia means Western Plain, and was originally part of the old Duchy of Saxony before the name Saxony described the eastern region around the Seine. Bordered by the Rhine and Weser River, Westphalia was a part of ancient Saxony until 1180 AD when Frederick Barbarossa placed Henry the Lion, Duke of Saxony, under ban and divided up his former duchy. It came under the control of Archbishop Philip of Heisenberg, who also received the Sauerland. It is now the contemporary Bundesland in the state of Northern Westphalia. Despite its union with Saxony, after which it was divided into separate religious and political regions of authority, Westphalia has its own history. At the eastern border of this province, we have the Teutoburger Forest, site of Hermann the Etrusker's victory over the Roman legions of Augustus in 9 AD. That's interesting. Maybe a descendant from someone who was able to defeat even the Roman legions. That'd be really cool. Eventually, the Duchy of Westphalia was under the control of the Archbishop of Cologne, a powerful church and state government. The most famous Archbishop, Bruno, who reigned from 953 to 965, was also named Archduke of Lorraine. The power of religious authorities was further increased when they were made electors, or in German, Kurfürsten of the Empire in 1356. During the Reformation, most of Westphalia remained Catholic, while Saxony converted to the Protestant faith. During the Middle Ages, the Borkowski family lived in Westphalia, where the name Borch was closely identified in medieval times with the feudal society, which would become prominent throughout European history. Ooh, this is cool. The name would later emerge as a noble family with great influence, having many distinguished branches, and become noted for its involvement in social, economic, and political affairs. So I am descended from nobility. Cool. Most surnames undergo frequent changes in spelling during the course of history, even from father to son. The name evolves and changes with the language, and it was common in German to add phrases to a root name that tells something of the person's religion, place of origin, or even character. Since so few people could read or write in the Middle Ages, the scribes recorded names based on their sound, reflected in the different spelling and pronunciation from region to region. The variations of the name Borkowski include Bork with a C as well as a K, Bork with a C and an E, Borker, another Bork, it's spelled the same way as the first, B-O-R-K, Bork with two Ks, Bork with two Ks and an E, Borscht, and Borchet, to name a few examples. In 1618, religious and territorial conflicts caused one of the most brutal wars in European history. Westphalia has most often been associated with the important Treaty of Westphalia in 1648, which ended the 30 Years' War but divided Germany's kingdoms and principalities into Catholic and Protestant regions, while Switzerland and the Netherlands were granted independence. The treaty also reduced the power of the emperor and made the princes rulers of their own lands. During this transitional period in German history, branches of the name Borkowski moved to Westphalia, where they became more entrenched as one of notable family names of the region. They established several branch houses of the name, and some were not confined to the region. They moved with great flux of migration in 16th and 17th century Europe. Many migrated to capitalize on their interests in either religion, military, or political service. They were also elevated to the ranks of the nobility as barons in 1847. So at least until the mid-1800s, there was nobility. Prominent among the bearers of the name Borkowski during this period were Gerard ter Borch, 1617 to 1681, a Dutch genre painter, and Caspar Wilhelm von Borch, 1707 to 1747, head of the Prussian legation at London. He also published one of the first German translations of Shakespeare. Following the French invasion during the Napoleonic Wars, Westphalia was declared a kingdom by Napoleon, of which only the Principality of Lippe remained autonomous. Westphalia ceased to be a duchy and a kingdom, and eventually came under Prussian dominance through the Congress of Vienna in 1815. In terms of industry, about half of the Ruhr region, most industrialized area in the world, named the Kohlenpott, which means the coal pot in German, belongs to Westphalia. The city of Dusseldorf is the present capital of the combined state of Nordrhein-Westfalen. Bochum has coal mines, heavy and chemical industries, as well as an observatory and space exploration institute. Dortmund is Westphalia's largest city, a former Reichsstadt or imperial city, and member of the Hanseatic League, a trading and commercial organization of the Middle Ages that was designed to foster trade among the European states. It is not only a center of industry, but also renowned for sports events and the famous beer Dortmunder Union. Nordrhein-Westfalen also is the site of Bonn, Germany's former capital, and Cologne, home to a famed museum of its Roman origins, as well as its beautiful historic cathedral, and it is indeed very beautiful. I remember seeing that my youth group uh, years back when I was in high school. If you ever go to school in Germany, be sure to visit that. After 1650, many Germans emigrated across the Atlantic to seek better lives in the New World of Canada and the American colonies. The majority of them settled in communities in Pennsylvania, Ohio, New York, Illinois, Texas, and California, while those who arrived in Canada settled in the prairie regions and the province of Ontario. Among settlers with the name Borkowski were F. Bork, age 40, who arrived in America in 1709, as did Heinrich Bork, age 50, with his wife and 3 daughters. Frederick Bork, age 22, settled in Great Barrington, Massachusetts in 1777. Crest Orchards, age 27, settled in Texas in 1845. F. Borchers arrived in Texas in 1845. L. Borchers, age 24, settled in New York City in 1823, and W. Borchers settled in Texas in 1853. Almost 70% of the immigrants landing in the United States arrived through the port of New York. From there, they followed opportunities into the North American heartland. Bearers of the surname Borkowski who have distinguished themselves in modern history include Ansley Ferdinand Borkowski, 1898 to 1992, American lawyer and politician, member of the New York State Assembly in 1921 and in 24 to 30, clerk of the New York State Assembly 1936 to 65, Robert Villian Bob Borkowski, born 1926, American former outfielder in Major League Baseball, who played from 1950 until 55. David Richard Borkowski, born 1977, American former League Baseball relief pitcher who played from 1999 to 2008. Michael John Borkowski, born 1973, American race car driver in the Bronx, New York. Frank Borkowski, German bronze medalist judoka at the 1990 European Championships. Ingo Borkowski, born 1971, German silver medalist sailor at the 2007 Olympics. Mark Borkowski, born 1959, British public relations agent and author. And Zech Borkowski, born 1963, Polish-born Women's Association football manager. Notables bearing other spellings of the name include Robert Bork, born 1927, American nominee for the U.S. Supreme Court, judge, lawyer, and educator. George Bork, born 1942, American football player. Kennard Baker Bork, retired American teacher of geology and geography. And Frank Bernard Bork, born 1940, American Major League Baseball pitcher. And as for the meanings of each of the symbols on the coat of arms, this part actually had cost extra to, uh, to purchase, but as I see it, it was well worth it. I find it fascinating learning about my family history. Okay, so quarterly. First and fourth, blue with a bear on a mound. Second and third, silver with 3 gold stars. In the feudal states of the Holy Roman Empire, at one time encompassed most of Eastern Europe, it was especially important to be able to identify enemies from allies because of the many conflicts that occurred there. A system of heraldry evolved that achieved this. It regulated what arms were borne and allowed each of the German knights to be distinguishable from others. Quarterly. The shield is divided into 4 equal quadrants. These are numbered from left to right as reading a book. Usually quartered arms are created when arms are inherited through an heiress. The family arms are in the first and often the last quadrant, with any inherited arms placed in between in order of acquisition. Blue. Azure, derived from the French word for blue, represents the color of an eastern sky on a clear day. It also corresponds to the metal tin. The word azure was introduced from the East during the Crusades. It signifies piety and sincerity, and is equated with autumn. Its engraving is represented by horizontal lines. Bear. The bear was thought to possess diplomacy equal to its great strength, and it is the emblem of ferocity and the protection of kindred. A bear is also a symbol of healing and personal health, strength, and bravery. Bears are often in the arms of names that sound somewhat like the animal, such as Bearing or Barnes. The bear is usually muzzled, but not always. Bears' paws are also often found as crests or symbols on shields. Mount. The image of a mount represents land. It signifies constancy, firmness, and spiritual strength. Silver. Argent, from the French for silver, or silver, is one of the 2 metals used in heraldry. It is usually represented on a shield by the colors gray or white. This metal represents nobility, peace, and serenity. It is associated with the qualities of purity and chastity because the metal stands the test of fire. 3 devices, beasts, or ordinaries of the same have a special significance in heraldry. First of all, there's the obvious reference to the Trinity in the design that would signify the observance of the Christian doctrine. Secondly, with many arms, it brings balance that is steeped in tradition. To better understand this latter scenario, we must look at the evolution of the shield in personal armory. Kite shields were the most popular from the 10th to 14th century, evolved into heater shields that had flat tops circa 1250. This was the time of heraldry's beginnings, and when 3 objects were used for balance in each corner of the shield. Later, with the advent of the chief, chevron, and bend, 3 devices brought balance to these ordinaries too. Gold, or from the French word for gold, is the tincture of gold, or in heraldic terms, or was considered the noblest color. One of only 2 metals used in heraldry, exceeds all others in value, purity, and finesse. It represents the light of the sun, and was once borne only by princes. Gold is said to gladden the heart and destroy all works of magic. It is also associated with excellence of achievement, and the bearer surpasses all others in valor. It is represented on coats of arms by the color yellow, and in engraving by an indefinite number of small points. Finally, the star. The star, or mote in heraldry, is often considered a symbol of truth, the spirit, and of hope. The star can denote a divine quality and is a symbol of constancy and celestial goodness. Its meaning can also depend upon the number and sometimes the orientation of its points. A star of some form constitutes part of the insignia of every order of knighthood. Many cultures throughout antiquity have used the star as a talisman or national insignia. An estoile is a star with wavy points and stands for God's goodness. In England, a mullet has 5 points unless another number is specified, while an estoile will have 6. In Scotland, a mullet is always pierced, meaning it has a hole in the center, while a star is not. In France, the definition of a mullet is different yet again, where it has no less than 6 points. And then on the back it has a bibliography. And here on the front at the bottom it has the certificate number. So these are individually numbered. So yeah, again, a very interesting thing, great product. I would definitely recommend these guys, houseofnames.com. This was for less than $40, this whole thing, and it arrived faster than I expected. And I can't wait to put this up in my man cave. I think that's gonna be the coolest thing, having that there in a place of honor for everyone to know about, like, the rich history of my name. Hope you've enjoyed this as much as I've enjoyed making it. Fairly well, ladies and gentlemen.